That brand new car smell. Most people don't realize it comes with a ticking clock. The truth is, new owners ruin their cars faster than anyone else, often in the first few months. Simple things like how you drive, how you fuel, and what you skip in maintenance can quietly kill performance and value. Today we'll show you 13 deadly mistakes that can destroy your brand new car. Let's have a look. Number 1. Ignoring the break-in period. When you buy a new car, the first few hundred miles are crucial, but most people don't treat them seriously. Every modern engine, whether it's naturally aspirated or turbocharged, needs a break-in period, where the moving parts settle into each other. This isn't just an old-school myth, it's based on metallurgy and engineering. Piston rings need time to seat against cylinder walls. Bearings need to polish themselves smooth, and seals need to adapt to pressure. If you start hammering the throttle or cruising at the same high speed for long stretches during the first 1,000 miles, you're creating uneven wear that the engine will carry for the rest of its life. Manufacturers recommend keeping the revs moderate, varying your speed, and avoiding towing or hard lurches until after about 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometers. Skipping this period might not blow the engine instantly, but it silently reduces compression, increases oil consumption, and can cut the total lifespan of the motor by years. You might never know what went wrong, but your car will feel tired much earlier than it should have. Number 2. Using the wrong fuel. Fuel choice is another mistake that destroys engines faster than most people realize. Car companies spend millions tuning engines to work with a specific octane level, and ignoring that advice is a gamble. If your car's manual calls for 91 octane premium, filling up with 87 may save a couple of bucks in the moment, but it introduces a dangerous condition known as knocking. Knocking happens when the fuel-air mixture ignites prematurely inside the combustion chamber, creating shockwaves that hammer pistons and valves. Over time, that abuse leads to pitted cylinder heads, damaged spark plugs, and even cracked pistons. Repairs can run into thousands of dollars. On the other side of the coin, putting premium in a car designed for regular won't hurt the engine, but it's a waste of money because the computer won't adjust for higher octane if it's not programmed to. According to AAA, American drivers collectively waste over $2 billion a year buying premium fuel their cars don't need. The bottom line, use exactly what the manufacturer recommends, no more and no less, if you want the engine to run as it was designed. Number 3. Skipping oil changes or using cheap oil. One of the deadliest mistakes new car owners make is believing that oil is something you can cheap out on. Modern cars can go longer between changes than older ones, but that doesn't mean you should ignore the schedule. Engine oil is far more than lubrication. It cleans away debris, prevents overheating, and keeps microscopic metal shavings from grinding components apart. Once oil begins to break down, it loses viscosity, and the protective film between moving parts disappears. This means your engine is grinding against itself every time you drive. Worse yet, if you use discount oils or unapproved blends, you may not even be giving your car the detergents and additives it needs to survive. Consumer Reports found that engines starved of fresh oil not only run hotter and wear faster, but they also burn up to 20% more fuel because of increased internal friction. The cost of a quality synthetic oil change may sting in the short term, but it is nothing compared to the $4,000 or $5,000 it can cost to rebuild or replace a seized engine. Number 4. Driving hard on a cold engine. Another mistake drivers make is revving the engine hard before it was warmed up. When you first start your car in the morning, the oil is sitting at the bottom of the sump, thick and sluggish. It takes approximately 30 seconds for the oil to circulate to critical areas, such as the camshaft bearings, turbocharger, and piston skirts. If you put your foot down immediately after starting, those components are grinding against each other with little to no lubrication. Metal expands as it heats, which means that until the engine is at its operating temperature, roughly 195 degrees Fahrenheit or 90 degrees Celsius, the tolerances aren't quite right. Push it too hard and you risk scoring the cylinder walls, warping pistons, or tearing piston rings. The smarter approach is to give the engine 30 to 60 seconds before you drive off, and then keep revs low for the first few minutes. It's such a simple adjustment, but over the lifetime of the car, it can be the difference between an engine that lasts 300,000 miles and the one that struggles to reach half of that. Number 5. Resting your hand on the gear lever. For manual transmission cars, this is one of those habits that feels harmless, but causes real damage. When you rest your hand on the gear lever, you're applying constant downward pressure to the selector forks inside the transmission. Those forks are designed to move gears into place for a split second during shifting, not to hold weight constantly. That extra stress gradually bends or wears them down, lending to sloppy shifts, grinding noises, and eventually gear failure. Once the forks are damaged, repairs can easily run between $2,000 and $3,000, depending on the car. Even for automatic transmissions, the equivalent mistake is leaving the car in drive or reverse at a standstill instead of shifting into park, which keeps pressure on the system unnecessarily. Both of these habits slowly eat away at your transmission's health. And since transmissions are among the most expensive components to repair or replace, you want to avoid any extra strain on them at all costs. Number 6. Riding the clutch. Anyone who's driven a manual knows the temptation of resting your foot lightly on the clutch pedal during traffic. But this is a guaranteed way to burn out a brand new clutch long before it's time. When you keep the pedal half depressed, you're allowing the clutch plate to slip against the flywheel constantly. This creates heat, wears away the friction material, and eventually causes the clutch to glaze over. A slipping clutch not only makes it difficult to drive, but also risks overheating the pressure plate and damaging the flywheel itself. A replacement job usually costs upwards of $1,000, and if the flywheel is damaged, you can tack on another few hundred easily. Good clutch discipline is simple. Either press the pedal fully when shifting, or take your foot completely off. Anything in between is money burned and parts destroyed. If you're finding this useful so far, go ahead and hit the like button to let me know. And tell me in the comments, which of these mistakes have you been guilty of in the past? Don't worry, we've all been there. Number 7. Neglecting tire maintenance. Tires are the most overlooked part of any car. Despite being the only contact point with the road, a brand new car may feel bulletproof, but ignoring tire pressure, rotation, and alignment is one of the fastest ways to ruin both safety and performance. Underinflated tires generate more rolling resistance, forcing the engine to work harder and burning up to 11% more fuel according to the EPA. They also heat up excessively, risking dangerous blowouts at highway speeds. Overinflated tires wear unevenly, losing grip in wet conditions. If you fail to rotate them every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, they wear unevenly and shorten their lifespan dramatically. Add poor wheel alignment into the mix, and suddenly your steering feels off. Your car pulls to one side, and your tires are bald long before their time. Replacing a set can easily cost $1,000 or more, so neglecting such simple checks is a financial and safety disaster. Regular maintenance keeps you safe, saves money, and ensures your brand new car still feels brand new years later. Number 8. Using cheap brake pads. Saving money on brakes is another deadly trap. Low-quality aftermarket brake pads might seem like a bargain at first, but they are often made of inferior materials that overheat quickly, wear unevenly, and increase your stopping distance by as much as 30%. That extra distance could be the difference between a close call and a collision. Cheap pads can also glaze the rotors, creating vibrations and ruining the smoothness of braking. Once rotors are warped, each replacement can cost hundreds of dollars per wheel. High-quality ceramic or OEM pads may cost more initially, but they provide consistent stopping power, resist heat fade, and last longer. Considering brakes are your car's most critical safety system, choosing inferior pads is not only dangerous, but financially irresponsible. Don't gamble with safety to save a few dollars. Your life and your car are worth more. Number 9. Ignoring software updates. Today's cars are essentially computers on wheels, and like any computer, they need updates. Many new vehicles have over 100 electronic control units managing everything from throttle response to climate control. Manufacturers release software updates to fix bugs, improve fuel efficiency, and even enhance safety systems like lane keeping or stability control. Ignoring these updates doesn't just mean missing out on improvements. It can also make your car less safe and less reliable. For example, Tesla regularly increases range through over-the-air updates, while other automakers release critical fixes at dealerships. If you fail to install these, you may find yourself ineligible for warranty claims related to those systems. It may feel inconvenient, but taking the time to update the car's software is just as important as changing the oil or rotating the tires. Number 10. Neglecting undercarriage washes. What you can't see can still hurt your car, and nowhere is that truer than the undercarriage. Road salt, mud, and grime build up underneath, clinging to metal parts and eating them alive. This is especially brutal in areas where roads are salted in winter. Salt accelerates rust dramatically, corroding brake lines, suspension arms, and exhaust pipes long before you notice anything from the driver's seat. According to the American Automobile Association, rust-related repairs cost American drivers over $3 billion every year. A simple undercarriage wash after a snowstorm or muddy trip costs $20 to $30, but it prevents thousands of dollars in rust repair down the road. Neglect this step, and you may be shocked to find your car's structure compromised just after a few winters. Number 11. Overloading the vehicle. Every car has a weight limit called the Gross Vehicle Weight Rating, or GVWR, but many owners ignore it, whether it's packing the trunk full of heavy luggage for a road trip or stacking a roof rack beyond its limit. Overloading the car causes stress it wasn't designed to handle. The suspension bottoms out more often, the brakes struggle to stop the extra mass, and the transmission overheats trying to keep up. Over time, shocks, springs, and bushings wear out prematurely, leaving the car feeling sloppy and unsafe. Worse, exceeding GVWR can void your warranty, leaving you to foot the bill for expensive repairs. The car may still move when overloaded, but every mile you drive like that chips away at its longevity and safety. Number 12. Ignoring warning lights. The dashboard warning lights are not suggestions, they're lifelines. Yet surveys show 1 in 3 drivers ignores them for over a week before seeking help. The check engine light alone can represent hundreds of potential issues, from a loose gas cap to a failing catalytic converter. Ignoring it could mean turning a $100 oxygen sensor replacement into a $2,000 converter repair. ABS and airbag lights are even more critical. If those systems are disabled, your safety in a crash is compromised. The sooner you address warning lights, the cheaper and easier the fix usually is. Waiting until the problem becomes unavoidable not only costs more, but also risks leaving you stranded on the side of the road. And lastly, number 13, bad driving habits. Finally, the way you drive every day matters more than you think. Hard launches, sudden braking, and constant speeding all put unnecessary stress on your car. Aggressive driving not only increases your fuel costs by nearly $500 a year, according to AAA, but also wears down your tires, brakes, and suspension at double the normal rate. Transmission mounts and engine components endure enormous strain every time you slam the accelerator or stomp the brakes. Smooth, controlled driving might not feel as exciting, but it preserves the integrity of your car, extends the lifespan of every component, and keeps your brand new vehicle feeling like new for much longer. So, there you have it. 13 deadly mistakes that can destroy your brand new car before it even has a chance to shine. Treat your ride with care, and it will reward you for years. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more car-saving tips, and drop a comment sharing which mistake you've seen people make the most. Thanks for watching, and drive safe.